how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today's video is going to be my monthly reading wrap-up. Get ready with me. I'm going to do my makeup and chat about all the books that I read in the month of August. And I'm just so excited. I love these videos. They bring me so much joy. I love those of you who love these videos too. Like, it's just so fun to talk about books and makeup. What a good combination. I always love hearing what you're reading. If you've read any of the things I've read, I'm always down for your recommendations. I'm constantly adding things to my want to read list. So if you have any suggestions of things you think I might like, feel free to tell me. Maybe I'll read it one day. Before we get into the video itself, as far as my accessories go, this is just an old choker that I got at a convention a few years ago. And these earrings used to be plugs, I think, from Hear No Evil jewelry that I turned into earrings. So yeah, without further ado, let's just hop in, do some makeup, chat about books. It'll be fun. Okay, let me get my books all pulled up on my phone so I can discuss them with you. I read 10 books last month and I'm gonna chat about them while I do my makeup, as one does in a reading wrap-up. Get ready with me. I did already prime also, so it could sink into the skin while I was prepping. I've been using the Merit Great Skin Priming Moisturizer and I am really liking it. It's nice. I feel like it does basically that, like it primes and moisturizes and it feels good. So let's move on. I have a mixture of things to play with. I have some of the NYX Beetlejuice collection. I have just some other products that I've been enjoying / still testing out / using just because I feel like it. If I don't mention something specifically, it'll all be in my description box as usual. But let's get into these books. As always, it's going to be as spoiler free as possible. I'm just going to give you the overall synopsis, the vibe, you know, the premise, if you will, and I'll give my rating and just kind of why I felt a certain way about it. But first book ruined my life. It was so sad. But this was Lily and the Octopus by Stephen Rowley. One of my friends gave it to me. I'm gonna go in with my Merit Stick Foundation. I've been loving this. But one of my friends gave it to me. She was just decluttering her collection and let me go through her books, and that was one of them. And then Linda from Glitter Fallout insisted that I read it ASAP. So I did, and it broke my heart. It is so sad. But I went into it knowing it was gonna be sad, so it didn't take me by surprise or anything. Basically, it's a story of this guy, I think he's like in his 40s, and his wiener dog, Lily. And it doesn't say it on the back, but you literally find this out within like the first chapter. But basically, he's chatting with his dog. His dog has kind of a persona in the book, like she talks to him. She's kind of like this sassy old lady. She's super, super cute. And they're chatting and he goes, "Lily, why is there an octopus on your head?" Which is obviously an analogy here. So it's kind of just a story of him like trying to protect his dog and coming to grips with certain things with their relationship. Again, I don't want to spoil things, but it is very sad. It was written so whimsically though. Like there were times that it was just so like magical and wholesome and even funny. And then other parts I was so sad. Like by the end of the book, I was snotty crying. Like I was sobbing my eyes out, but it was a beautiful read. Can be triggering though with pet related things. So just know what you're getting into, but I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't feel like it was quite like 5-star energy for me personally. But it was just so beautifully well written and I really enjoyed it. I'm going in with my Surratt concealer now. I was so like iffy on this little concealer stick, but you know, I've been enjoying it. It's such a easy, non-messy kind of situation. I love it. But as I blend that out, we can talk about Ashley Poston's novel love story. I did rave about this in my monthly favorites video because it was one of my 5-star reads of the month. I did have 2 5-star reads, which was wonderful. Novel love story was so good. I love Ashley Poston's writing. I've loved all 3 of the books I've read from her. I think all 3 of them were 5 stars. But basically we have our main girl, Elsie. She is in this book club where all the members are just like obsessed with this one specific author. I mean, they read just books in general, but they love this one specific author and they meet up once a year. Well, this year in particular, she's the only one that can attend and she's still determined to go. Like it's like this cabin, I think up in New York or something. So she's gonna go by herself. Well, on the way, her car breaks down. And as she is stuck in this town trying to get her car fixed, she's noticing things are kind of vaguely familiar. And eventually she realizes this town is the setting of her favorite romance novels, which is the coolest concept. I love that. Like, I literally can't even imagine stumbling in my favorite, like, settings of books. Like, that would be so cool. So she's getting to know, like, all of her favorite characters and kind of helping solve unfinished things in the books and stuff like that. So yeah, she's just kind of learning more about herself through these characters, and it was just so beautiful and fun. There is a little bit of a love connection in here as well, a little bit of a romance, but I feel like the romance isn't the forefront of this story. It more so just feels like her story, like what she's going through and how she's evolving and stuff like that. But it was so freaking cute. I adored it. I loved all the characters so much. The setting, I felt like I was there. And even though it was based off of these like fictional books that our character loves, the way it was told, it felt like I knew it as well. So it was just so beautiful. It was so fast-paced. I loved it. Easy 5-star. Could not put it down. It was such a freaking treat. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I read this one this month. I feel like this month flew by, but it also lasted so long, which is good because we're like entering spooky season. I don't want it to go away too fast. But the third book I read was Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the third book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. Basically, Dreamland is kind of a play on like Disney World. It's in Florida, based on like princesses and stuff like that. There's even like talks about like a streaming service, and there's like toys and characters and movies. So it's very much Disney, you know? But basically each of these Dreamland books are based on a brother. There's 3 brothers, and they're all inheriting various parts of the company because the original owner, their grandfather, passed away in book 1, or I guess before book 1, because it's starting with him solving his thing, whatever. Basically, each of the brothers has something they need to accomplish in order to receive their part of the company. So we're on the 3rd brother now. This is Callahan. In order to get his part, he has to go back to Lake Wisteria where his grandfather's house was. His house was something about family houses, and he has to sell the house. Well, upon returning back, his ex-girlfriend Alana, who's been living there because the grandfather gave her rights to live there, like she's on the house and everything, like she's on the deed and whatnot. She lives there happily, and Callahan's swooping in saying we need to sell this place. She has no interest in that, and since she is a co-owner of the house, like she doesn't have to let that happen. So then it's this big thing of like, what's gonna happen with the house? What's gonna happen with them? I love a second chance romance. This was my favorite book of the 3. If I had to rank them, I'd say book 3, book 1, book 2. Because book 1 was like a perfect grumpy sunshine. Book 2 was like a marriage of convenience. It was okay. I didn't love book 2 as much. Book 3 was great though. I loved like the second chance romance. There was some slow burn. I loved just Callahan coming into himself more and learning like what's important in life. And it was just such a fun story. It was so funny, and I just loved these characters, and I love this town. And I know her Lakeside Billionaires series takes place in Lake Wisteria, so I'm so excited to eventually jump into that series and go back to Lake Wisteria because I loved that setting. I love a small town. It's just like I would never want to live in a small town again, but I love reading about it in books. It's like my favorite thing ever. So yeah, I gave this a solid 4 stars. It was honestly almost a 5-star. It just didn't give me quite that 5-star feeling, but I loved it. I ate it up. But the next book I read was Finale by Stephanie Garber. This is the 3rd book in the Caraval trilogy, which I'm not going to give away too much because unlike the Dreamland Billionaires where they're all interconnected standalones, like it's recommended to read them in the order of release, but you don't have to. Like, it doesn't necessarily ruin things if you went out of order. You would just get a little spoiled on the other character situations, whereas this one is literally the 3rd in a trilogy. If I give too much away in this book, it's going to spoil things from the previous book, so I really can't say too much. There's just this really whimsical, interesting event called Caraval. I think it happens like once a year or so. We have our 2 sisters, Donatella and Scarlett, and basically starting in book 1, they get kind of roped into Caraval where they're participating, and it's magical and weird, and things that are real are actually not, and things that aren't real actually are, and it's like this whole whimsical thing. It's very like mind gamey, trying to complete the Caraval and win the game. It's like this big weird, it's so hard to explain. I'm really bad at putting this game into words. But basically it's just really fun and whimsical and exciting and mysterious. And throughout these books there's been other mysteries kind of unfolding that the sisters have to figure out. So I can't really say too much more. I did enjoy this one. This one definitely did not hit as hard as like the first book. I feel like it literally goes like first, second, third as far as like my favorites. This one was okay. Like it definitely wrapped things up that needed to be wrapped up, but I don't know. The first one was the best. And I did enjoy the series overall. It's just kind of a fun like YA magical sort of book. Very easy, very fast paced. I'm really excited to dive into the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy because one of the characters in this series is in that series, and I'm just really excited to see what's done with that. And I've heard people like that series more than this one too, so that makes me excited as well, because even though this was my least favorite of the trilogy, I still enjoyed it. Like I still gave it 4 stars because overall I just thought the trilogy was super fun. But yeah, that's kind of where I leave you. The 5th book I read was Body in the Backyard by Lucy Score. This is the 4th book in the Riley Thorne series. This is the most recent one that's come out. I assume there's still going to be more to come in the future because this wasn't like really a complete ending. Like I guess really these could end at any point, but I've really been liking this. They're quirky, they're fun, kind of like mixtures between murder mystery and rom-com. It's a really fun fusion and I've been having a great time with it. But really quick, let me do my little blushy combo because I've just been loving doing my fun blush combos. So I'm taking my Rare Beauty and Lighten liquid highlight and I'm just gonna highlight a little bit on my tops of my cheekbones and my nose. I'll go ahead and blend my nose out though because I don't want that sitting too long. And then I'm taking this new liquid blush from Rare Beauty. It came in this little Only Murders in the Building duo, and this is a new shade of liquid blush. It's called Resilience, and it's so pretty. I wore it yesterday. I dare say this could be my new favorite liquid blush from Rare Beauty. I just think it's so pretty. Just taking my Sigma F43 and blending that liquid blush and liquid highlight kind of all together. Just taking it up toward like my temple. I really just like that kind of draped blushy sort of moment. I think it's so cute. But anyways, while I continue to blend this out, we have our main character, Riley Thorne. Her boyfriend, Nick, is a private investigator. You meet Nick in the first book, but I don't feel like it's a spoiler that they end up together because that's typical rom-com fashion. They have an instant attraction. We're 4 books deep at this point. And basically each book is kind of not only navigating more about their relationship and how things are evolving for them, but also just solving more mysteries. There's always something afoot. There's so many quirky characters. She lives in this huge house with a bunch of other old people. Everyone's just kind of roommates with each other, and the old people are all so funny and weird. Her family is super kooky. She comes from a family of psychics, so that's kind of how her and Nick like teamed up in the first place. Like he's a private investigator, she has psychic abilities, so they kind of work together to solve these mysteries, you know? And it's just a fun time. It's always quirky and weird. I never know exactly where the direction is going with the mysteries, but I kind of like that. Like it's so unserious. It's always just a fun, kooky time with weird characters, and I just have a blast reading these. I feel like across the board, I've just been giving all of these 4 stars because they're not quite 5-star feeling energy, but I have such a great time reading them. I love Lucy Score's writing, and these books are just something so different than her other books. Her other books are such typical, like, rom-coms and romances and stuff like that. I like the murder mystery aspect. I think it just makes it fun and unique, and I don't really see that combo very often of like romance meets murder mystery, and I think it's just so fun, and they're just so funny and so cute, and I adore them. And I love side characters, and Lucy Score is so good at building up side characters. I love it. And I love this blush. It's so pretty. But I'm not done yet. Never Enough blush. I'm gonna take my NYX and Beetlejuice Passports Afterlife Passport blush trio. It's so cute. I wore this one the other day and it was really pretty. I was thinking today maybe we could top the orange on top of what I did. I think that could be fun. Use my Sigma F40 with this. I also like had no clue how tiny this was until I went to Target and bought it. It's so teensy, but I'm just gonna lightly dust this blush over everything. Oh, that gives such a pretty glow too. You know, I don't even know if I'm gonna add extra highlighter today. I'm kind of liking this glowy moment all on its own. Shocking, right? So pretty. It's so cute. Just dust a little across my nose as well. Yeah, I feel like this glowy blush is like really adding a highlighty element. I mean, I know I have liquid highlighter on too technically, But yeah, that looks so good. Moving on, the next book I read is A Shadow Crown. This is in the Halfling Saga by Melissa Blair. It is so good. Such a wonderful fantasy series. I am enjoying it so heavily. We have our main character, Kira. And again, I can't give away too much. And I just like don't want to spoil things from the previous book. But basically, there's just like a lot going on. She is the king's assassin, and she is basically meant to take out like halflings, and this is a society where like the fae are like criminalized or killed, I guess is a better way of putting it. So she's kind of in charge of all that. She sets out on an adventure in the very first book where she's hunting down this shadow who is potentially going to disturb the king's peace. I feel like I'm describing this horribly. But she sets out to do that, and on that adventure she's learning a lot more about the nuances of the situation and stuff like that. So she's learning more about like herself, and that just continues on in this book. Did I mention this is the second book? I don't know if I said specifically what order this was. It's the second book. So we're just continuing on with things that we learned in book number 1 and just evolving from that, learning more about Kira and her past and where things are going to go going forward. I'm being so vague, but I don't want to spoil things from the first book, so that's as good as it's going to get. I gave this 4 stars. I'm loving this series. It's not quite giving me the 5-star feeling, but I'm heavily enjoying it. I'm going to start the 3rd one very soon, actually. I'm very, very excited. And then the 4th one, I think, comes out in January. So I'm also so excited for that. I'm just really pumped to see where this series goes. I'm going to do my brows while we talk about the next book. This is Final Girls by Riley Sager. I'm not sure. But this was a fun little thriller. It's kind of themed around different final girls, which is the trope of like this mass murderous thing happened, and there's that one final girl who survived. So it's kind of following a couple different people who are final girls. Our main character in focus is Quincy, and she's been kind of corresponding with this other final girl, not in person, just like via like email and stuff like that. And she turns up dead. So now Quincy is paranoid that somebody is after final girls specifically. So she's paranoid. She's friends with the cop who helped her out when she initially got in her situation to make her a final girl. So they're trying to figure out who's after them. This other final girl that had been in the correspondence as well, Sam, shows up shortly after the other girl's death, and they're kind of making friends with each other, but things are just like not quite right with Sam, so we're trying to figure out that as well. There's a lot of weird lies and mysteries unfolding, especially part of it being Quincy can't even really remember what happened to her that night all those years ago where all the catastrophe happened. So there's just a lot of like, what's going on, who is who they say they are, what actually happened at these certain events. Some mysteries are unfolding. For the most part, I enjoyed it. It's very fast-paced. It was very easy to consume. The ending kind of, I don't know, it wasn't a bad ending. I just felt like it was kind of like, oh, okay, sure. I gave it 3 stars. Like, I thought it was fine. It was enjoyable. It was entertaining. But I can't say that I like loved it, you know? I've only read one of his other books, and it was House Across the Lake. I read it last year and I loved that one. That one I think I gave 4 stars, maybe even 5. I loved it either way. This one I feel like was just a little bit different. Something about it just didn't quite reel me in as hard as I would have hoped. But I still found it entertaining and enjoyable. It was fast-paced, it was easy, and I liked kind of following that final girl trope. I just thought it made things fun and interesting. I'm gonna spray my face and then we will move on to the eyes. I'm gonna be using the Recently Deceased palette from the NYX and Beetlejuice collab. It's very cute. I already did a look with this technically. I did something kind of subtle actually. It was more like just kind of playing with the black, white, just making like a subtle smoky outer corner with a pop of green on the lower lash line. It was so pretty. That'll be on Instagram and YouTube Shorts. If it's not already posted, it'll be coming soon. But today I really want to play with these. These are kind of speaking my language today. So I think that's going to be my main focus. I think I kind of want to do a big wing where I kind of use this to create the wing, and then maybe put this one kind of connecting into it, and then smoke this on the lower lash line. Because I also have the liner duos. They're like chromy little liner duos where they all have like a black liner on one side and then the other side are like these little chromy guys. They're like reflective and shifty, and I've already played with these two technically, so I want to use this one today. So I think that bluish shade at the bottom will go well with this. So that's kind of my plan, I think. So I'm gonna prime with my Milk Makeup Hydro Grip, and then I'm gonna start creating my wing with Nightmare Material and Ghoul Squad, and I'll probably use my glitter primer from Beaute Bar to make Ghoul Squad pop. So that's the plan while I continue to talk about the last 3 books. I have Serpent in the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I'm so excited. This is the first book of the Crowns of Nioxia series. I don't know how many there's gonna be. I already have the novella that's in between, and the second one will be out on paperback soon, and then the third one also releases soon. So I don't know if the third one's the last one. I'm not there yet, so we shall see. But either way, there's a couple out already, and I've been enjoying it so far. So far, so good. It was a great start. It's a super fun kind of vampire fantasy situation. We have our main girl, Araya. She was adopted by the Vampire King when she was young. Her like human town got infiltrated and he kind of took her under his wing. And now she's all grown up and there's this big tournament called the Kajari. And she's competing because whoever wins gets this like cool prize situation. I don't want to delve into it too much because you should just figure that out for yourself. But she wants to win this tournament for whatever reason. Throughout the tournament, she ends up befriending a rival. His name is Reign. They're kind of on opposite sides as far as basically there's like different like groups of people or vampires, so to speak, in this world, and he's not in the same one that her and like the king is in. So she really should not be associating with him, but she ends up befriending him. They kind of just start working together during each of these phases of the Kajari. As things go on, things are blooming. It turns into a little bit of a rivals to friends to lovers sort of situation, but it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I felt like the world is cool. It's a little bit of a slow start, but it wasn't so slow that I was bored or anything. And then once it gets into it, it was super fun. I really enjoyed all the different side characters and just getting to know the world and the problems with the world and kind of going along with the story and figuring out like what needs to change, what is correct and what's not. Is the king doing all the good things that Araya thinks he's doing? Stuff like that. So it was just really fun. I ended up giving it 5 stars. I just could not put it down. I feel like I flew through it and I cannot wait to continue the series. I already have the little novella. I'm going to dive into that one at some point. I'm going to save that specifically for like a day off that I don't have any responsibilities because it's like less than 200 pages and I can easily read that in one sitting if I have nothing else to worry about. So that's my plan. And then once the second one comes out on paperback, I plan on picking it up because I need my books to match. And then I will patiently wait for the third one to also be on paperback. So yeah, that's my plan. I just loved it. I loved the vampires. I loved the fantasy. It was super just fast paced and easy. And I really enjoyed it. I felt so immersed. I think that's as similar as those are gonna get. Like I said, I'm gonna take my Beaute Bar shimmer stay to help that shimmer stay and just pop and look really pretty. So I'm just gonna kind of blend that across the lid. Just want to continue on with that wingy shape and taking Ghoul Squad. Very cute. I'm just gonna tippy tap that. I'll maybe even put the green in my inner corner. We'll see how I feel. I think that could be kind of fun. Even though this is a Beetlejuice themed palette, it's not like those typical traditional like purple green that you normally see. This is a little bit more of like a soft green, bluey purple, pink, which is very cute. I think it's fun. Ooh, that is so pretty. I'm just kind of feathering this into that black. That looks so cute. I love it. I'm gonna blend out the black on that lower lash line a little bit with Bio Exorcism. Just kind of blending it here in this outer corner just to get that a little bit softer and diffused before I go in with that shimmer. I'm gonna take Winter River on a little pencil brush. This is a Sigma E38. And I just wanna pop this all up down here. And I'll put my pencil in there too in just a second, just so that that all connects and flows together. That's so pretty. Well, I guess while I continue doing that and then take the purple chrome pencil, let's talk about the next book. This was Business Casual by B.K. Borison. This is the 4th interconnected standalone in the Love Light Farm series. This is such a cute series. I love this town. This is actually the last one in the series. I basically, before I even read this book, I was like, let me go to the author's notes. Is this going to be the last book? And it is. She intended on this being the last book. So it was, and I feel like it was such a good wrap up to the story. Like, it wrapped up kind of our other characters that we've gotten to know and learn about in the previous books, and we're getting to know these new characters in this book, and it just wrapped up this town and this world and this series so, so beautifully. I loved it. Again, I love like a small town romance. I think it's just so cutesy and fun. I also love this color combo on the eyes. I think this is so pretty. But basically, in this book, we have Nova. She's actually the sister to, oh my gosh, what is his name? I'm blanking on his name, but our main guy in the second book, who is the like farmhand at the Christmas tree farm, she's his sister. She's moving back to Lovelight Farms to open up her little tattoo studio. She loves this town that she grew up in, and she's just been dying to come back. Well, she has this like kind of weird flirty friendship with this other guy, Charlie, who is oh my gosh, what is her name? Stella. Our main girl, Stella, from book 1. He has relation to her. I don't need to like delve into the details right now, but he's connected to her. So he comes into town to visit every so often, and him and Nova kind of have a little bit of like a flirty relationship. Like, he tries to like flirt with her, she shuts him down, it's a whole thing. Well, she's moving back permanently, and he finds himself being back in this town. Until further notice, he's kind of taking over the Christmas tree farm responsibilities. And this doesn't take place during Christmas time. It's like, I think autumn actually, when this book is taking place, but it's just a Christmas tree farm year round, you know? They do other things, but it's the farm. He's taking over the farm responsibilities while Stella is off on her honeymoon. So they're finding themselves around each other a lot more. Their friendship is growing. They definitely have an attraction, and Nova gets the idea to, I'm gonna take the green shimmer, I think, and put that in my inner corner because I think that'll be super cool. But she gets the idea to just have like a one-time thing with Charlie. She thinks if they just hook up one time, they'll get each other out of their systems and they can move on. Ooh, the green brought this to life. That is so cute. So they do that. And of course it doesn't work. They kind of have like a one-night stand, turns into more of a solid friendship, turns into a slow burn lovers sort of situation. I love the way they interact with each other. I love how supportive he is with her stresses and anxieties about opening up a shop. We just get to know both of these characters on such a deeper level. And it was just such a fun time. I loved these characters. We're just so great together. I think book 1 was my favorite because it was just such a great like fake dating friends to lovers. That was my number 1. I think this was my second favorite. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. So beautiful. I'm so sad that this series is over, but I'm so excited to see what more she writes in the future. I think she has something coming out, I don't know how soon, but at some point. And I will be reading it. I cannot wait. Her writing style is just so immersive and fast-paced, and the characters are always so good. So I love so much. Just gonna tight line really quick before I go in with my mascara. And I don't think I've gotten to do this on camera yet, but I have a heated lash curler now. This is from Grande Lash. I haven't started using the serum yet because I'm kind of scared. I've heard, like, I was hearing nothing but good things. And then I ordered it, thankfully, at a discount because at my salon supply store for professionals, it's sold there and it's cheaper than market value. So thankfully I didn't spend top dollar for it. But I haven't started using it yet because after I bought it, I started hearing scary things that can happen as far as side effects with Grande Lash. So I haven't started using the serum yet, but I am loving the lash curler. So we'll see how it goes. I actually want to test it out on a mascara that I previously didn't love because it didn't hold a curl. But I've been having really great luck with this. Like, I've been using this even with some mascaras like the Milk Makeup Tubing one or the Rare Beauty one, where I don't think they're bad. They just wouldn't hold a curl in my lashes. But with this, they hold, and it's so nice. So I get to show you this. Once the little red light turns white, that means it's ready. So I'm so excited. I guess I'll use that while I talk about my final book, Leather and Lark by Brynne Weaver. This is the second book in the Ruinous Love trilogy. This is the book after Butcher and Blackbird, which I loved. Butcher and Blackbird was so good. And I was super excited about this one because you get to see glimpses of these characters. Leather is Lachlan. He is the brother to Rowan in the first book. All 3 books are going to be based on one of the brothers because there's 3 brothers. So this is the second brother. I think this is the oldest brother, if I'm not mistaken. And Lark is friends with Sloane from book number 1. So they already kind of like had a little thing together, and I really enjoyed getting to kind of see glimpses of them. So I was super excited to get into their story. They're very much an enemies to lovers, marriage of convenience kind of trope. And I enjoyed it. I didn't love it as much as Butcher and Blackbird, but I still really enjoyed it, especially like once it really got in there, because it was kind of a mixture of enemies to lovers meets marriage of convenience meets slow burn. It was so good. It was so funny. These are kind of like darker, gross rom-coms because it deals with like serial killers, but it's always like serial killers in like a good way, like very Dexter vibes as far as like they kill bad people, you know? And it's super funny. The banter is hilarious. I love these characters. This wasn't as spicy as book number 1. It was still spicy, don't get me wrong. I felt like book number 1 was much spicier. I also felt like book number 1 was more gross than this one, but that's neither here nor there. That doesn't like really matter to me either way. But I enjoy getting to know these characters. I enjoyed getting to know more of Lark and her past and what's her deal, and seeing her and Lachlan kind of form a connection together. And yeah, that's kind of it. It's just kind of a fun little gross, dark, romantic comedy. I like the murder and the ickiness, and it's fun. It's fun and fascinating and interesting, and I can't wait for the 3rd one. I don't know when it comes out, but I'm excited for it either way. So basically with this heated lash curler, I always just like go in with it first and just kind of get a little bit of a curl. And then I go in with my mascara, and then after the mascara dries, I go in with the heated lash curler again, and that's really what seals the deal. I don't even know if what I'm doing right now matters. Like I could maybe skip that step and just do the heated after, but this seems to be working for me so far. And I'm on just such a mission to make my natural lashes look better with mascara. Like, as much as I like wearing false lashes, like here in the light, like see how like much more curled that is than I usually ever get? It's like so much more curled than I usually ever get. And this combined with the Swede Lash Serum that I've been using, because I wasn't even going to start using Grande Lash until I finished this one anyways. But that with this, like, I'm just getting like pretty decent length and volume and holding a decent curl, which I just love to see it. So anyways, I gave this one 4 stars. I still liked Butcher and Blackbird more, but I still had a really fun time with this. I really just love an enemies to lovers, and it was a good, fun time. But overall, this was a really successful reading month. I feel like almost everything was a 4-star. We had a couple 5 stars. We only had 1 3-star, and I didn't even like, I don't think that's bad. Like 3 stars aren't bad to me. They're just fine. But this was a fun time. Okay, this side seems dry enough. So I also like doing this because like kind of holding it in and like kind of holding it and then like lightly dragging it up and through. It also kind of separates my lashes again a little bit in case there was any clumps. I just love this. And this mascara seems okay. It's not like rocking my world or anything, but I like it more now than I did previously, because just with a traditional lash curler, this mascara did not hold at all for me. So just trying to go through once more. And this doesn't get too hot or anything in my opinion. Like it kind of feels nice. There's like no burn or anything like that. It is just kind of comforting. Well, that's about as good as that's gonna get. I'm pretty happy with this look overall. Now just a smidgen more, a little bit of a second coat just for good measure. Yeah, I feel like that worked pretty nicely. I mean, my lashes are still like nothing crazy, but this is truly the best they've ever looked ever since I started using this like heated lash curler. It's so amazing. And now I just need lips. I was kind of thinking lining with this black pencil and then dotting this pink in the middle could be kind of cute. I think that would go with the lid nicely. It was kind of what I was thinking, so let's maybe give it a go. I'm obviously feeling kind of dramatic today. This is Villain from Unearthly, by the way. I don't think I'd said what it was called. I was kind of blend that a little bit. I'll do the same on the top. I'll kind of blend that down as well. That is so cute. So let's try just a dot, 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 dots. Tap that out. This is Picnic Blanket, by the way, from Likely Makeup. I also don't know if I'd said that. Just doing a little dot for a little bit of a subtle ombre. Well, I do kind of like that. I also feel like, what if I put a gloss over top? Like, I almost feel like Bitchcraft is calling for this look from Lunar Beauty, so yup. That was the move. Oh, these smell like cake. Oh, I love it. Oh, yes. Yes. Thanks so much for watching my video. I had so much fun today. I love these books. These books brought me so much joy, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Have you read any of them? Do you want to read any of these? What have you read lately? What have been your top standouts? I would love to know. I hope you like my look. I would love to hear your thoughts on the products I used. Yeah, I think that's about it. If you made it to the end of this video, leave some book emojis. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel out a lot. And if you're not already, you can follow me over on Instagram on BATTYBEAN there as well. And also you can subscribe. I'm posting most days over here. And if you wanna, you can join my channel memberships. The link to sign up will be down below. You'll get fun little perks, including a members only video once a month. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.